Story from the Telegraph now, a story tailor-made to get your non-binary goat, I would imagine, Nick.
My favourite story of the night. So this is in the Telegraph. You're welcome to close your accounts if you don't like pronoun badges, Halifax tells customers. So if you're not on Twitter, this was Halifax put out a tweet of someone called Gemma, and they said pronouns matter with the hashtag it's a people thing. And it was a picture of someone called Gemma, and she had a badge saying she, her, hers, as if we didn't know that Gemma was a woman. And this has received a massive backlash on Twitter. They got ratioed into oblivion, if you know what that means. Yeah. And Warren Richmond, who's a Twitter user, said, there's no ambiguity about the name Gemma. It's a female person's name. In other words, it's pathetic virtue signalling, and is seen as such by almost everyone who's responded to the initial tweet. Why are you trying to alienate people? And this is then when Halifax really smashed it out of the park. They said, we strive for inclusion, equality, and quite simply, in doing what's right. If you disagree with our values, you're welcome to close your account. So basically, we strive for inclusion, and if you're not OK with that, get out and close your account, which is hilarious. It reminds me of Elon Musk recently in a Twitter meeting when he said to the staff, they said, what's your version of inclusion? He's like, bringing more people onto the platform. That's what it used to mean, more people.
Yes, yeah.
But now it means something else. And I just say, this is classic from the left. I'll say the woke left if you prefer, so that we don't anger everyone. But it's this sort of juvenile thing of thinking that your views are morally right. You have the moral monopoly, and everyone else is just wrong. It's such a simplistic mindset. And actually, it's more complicated because, of course, the gender-critical left is also very much against this. Yeah. So they're alienating virtually everyone. And it's very disturbing to see it from a bank. And I just briefly would reference Robert Conquest's second law of politics, when he said that any organisation that isn't explicitly right-wing will sooner or later become left-wing, and that's what we've seen here.
Yeah, and you would think a bank should be explicitly right-wing.
If anyone.
The pronouns thing I find complicated. Mine are get her, by the way. And God's pronouns are thee and thou. That's important. But the thing that I find aggravating about it is that people use it as this kind of be kind. It's a people thing. Whereas actually it has behind it an ideology. It has a view of the relationship between sex and gender, which not everybody shares. Now, if you want to wear badges, pronoun on your badge, well, in a way, help yourself. I think the problem really comes is when it's projected as this idea that it's the nice thing to do, it's the right thing to do, but it actually carries with it this kind of ideological or theoretical view of the world, which if you don't agree with, if it's positioned as the nice thing to do and you don't want to do it, then you're seen as a nasty person. Yeah. That's the real danger with it. And this idea of inclusion, I mean, I work in this. This is one of the things I do professionally. It's precisely about difference. Inclusion. We wouldn't talk about inclusion or diversity if we weren't all different. And so the point of diversity and inclusion is not to make us all the same. It's to understand how we can combine and collaborate our differences, maintaining them, but understanding that we can collaborate with them to create companies or societies or whatever.
As somebody has said, in the specific case of somebody to whom you've just gone to try and cash your weekly pension cheque or whatever as well, it's particularly absurd because you don't even use their pronouns, do you, in their presence? You will be standing there facing a cashier. It's not even going to come up. You can sort of understand it if there were a group email. I wouldn't support it myself because I agree with you. It's an ideology and I don't support that ideology, and it would be hypocritical of me to adopt it and just pretend it didn't matter. But in a group email, if somebody signs off with their pronouns, you can understand because the next email you may want to say, well, I think he was wrong when he said that. And you go, I'm sorry, they were wrong. But in this scenario, it's just purely...
Perhaps they'd argue it's between staff so they can refer to each other correctly. I don't know. Okay. I mean, just being ridiculously fair to them, too fair, but it's interesting. Simon's saying that's actually his job, but is it a bank's job? I mean, they say here we want to create a safe and accepting environment that opens the conversation around gender identity. Well, why? Why does a bank need to open that conversation? Then it said, can I just add quickly, it said it's a very simple solution to accidental misgendering, but it's not a simple solution because you've got thousands of people outraged about it on Twitter.
I think that's the key thing. A, it's becoming very, very divisive. But I go back to this idea. Diversity is not about everybody being the same. So everybody having pronoun badges and everybody agreeing about gender ideology. It's precisely about the ability to disagree about it well.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
I agree with you.